This is about volunteering to glorify God. If you are volunteering, is it wrong for someone to mention a person by name for the work they are doing in prayer? Is this the same as getting the reward on earth now, like clapping your hands and saying good for you? Is it cheating them out of their heavenly rewards? I do understand works do not get us to heaven.
Right, yeah. And you're right. Works don't get you to heaven, but we do get rewards for our works when we get to heaven. And so Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 talks about the fact that all our works are going to be tested as if by fire, and the fire is going to burn away the wood and the hay and the stubble and leave the gold and silver and precious jewels. And so you're right there. So our works don't get us to heaven, but we do get rewards for our works. And so as to your question, one of the things that me and my best buddies, we all got saved right around the same time. One of the things that me and my best buddies always did with each other is when we were, talking about the things that the Lord did in our lives, there would be these times that, you'd be all excited and start talking about what Jesus used you to do. And sometimes it would get into some ego-driven stuff. And whenever that happened, all the rest of us would just clap. Just go, well done, good and faithful servant, and do that kind of thing. And you just go, we just want to give you your reward, buddy. And, that kind of thing. And you know what? In actuality, that can be something that would take away your reward if you were doing it to be seen by men. And if that's what you were looking for. If you're looking for the acclaim of people, then God's going to consider that your reward. And so Jesus said, when you do your good works, when you give alms, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing, or vice versa. I always get that, back and forwards. And you don't let people know that you're doing these things, so that your Father who sees in secret, Jesus said, will reward you openly. And when you pray, you go into your closet and you pray. You don't go out and do it in public. Now, I publicly pray all the time, and I'm not doing it to be seen by men. And one of the things that I always make sure that I'm not doing when I'm praying is I don't preach in my prayers. I don't. When I'm praying, I'm talking to God. I'm not talking to the people in the room. And so I try to make sure that I'm not doing that. Otherwise, it's not actual prayer. But Jesus, and because I'm not doing it to be seen of men, I'm doing it in front of men, but I'm not doing it because I want to be seen by them, or I want them to grade my prayer and tell me I get a 9.9 out of 10, or something like that. Then I expect that Jesus is going to be kind to me, considering the work that I do in prayer. But what Jesus said was, don't do like the hypocrites do. They love to be seen, praying in the streets. When you pray, go to your closet, go to your inner rooms, and you pray in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. And so again, I need to be doing it as before the Lord. And so if I'm doing something as unto the Lord and somebody comes up and mentions that I did it, doesn't mean that my reward is automatically taken away. God understands why I'm doing things. And so, but I don't ever want to be in the position where I am looking for public acclaim for the things that I'm doing for Jesus. And so this is something that kind of happens to me routinely. When I'm doing Bible studies, I'm doing them for the people, in the sense that I want to bless them, but ultimately I'm doing it for Jesus. And so when somebody comes up and compliments me on those things, when I was a younger pastor, I had problems with that, because it's like, I don't want you to compliment me. Just recognize that it was the Lord who did it. And so I had a lady who came up to me and said, Steve, that was a good Bible study, and I want to just thank you for that. And I go, well, it's not me, that's Jesus. And she looks at me and she goes, she may have even said young man. I can't remember, but she got the point across that I need to get my act together. But she looked at me and she goes, I know that Jesus did it through you, and I can say thank you to you, and you can politely accept my thanks. I'm like, yes, ma'am. And so from that point on, I figured that out. Too much of me in there, even not wanting to hear it. And so now when, especially when older people come up and say thank you for what you did, and it's like usually I'll say something like, "Yeah, that's Jesus, right?" I go, "Yeah, that's Jesus," and so giving the glory to God, but I also say thank you to people, and I don't expect that that's going to be my reward because I appreciate the thanks, but I don't care if I get thanked. And I think that's where that's a good balance. We need to be doing it for as unto the Lord. Everything you do it with all your might towards
Amen.
Jesus. Yeah.